Good morning. Good morning. Here we are once again. I have a wicked reflection going on. That's neat. Um, where's that coming from? That's over this way. Oh, I know what that is. Never mind. I can fix that. All right. Adjustments, that's the way it goes. So, yes, good morning. Welcome to Mid Morning Medium Chat with Adam the Black Swamp Medium. Thank you so much for joining me. Good morning, Melissa. Hey, Steph. Good morning. Hopefully, you all are doing well and staying warm because it is quite cold out there. Tis the season, right? So, hey, good morning, Dennis. So I will continue to sip on my coffee to keep me warm, even wearing the hoodie. So, um, yeah, it's definitely cold. I don't even, what temperature is it out there right now? It's only 19 for me, so hopefully it's a little bit better. Hey, Rodney, what's happening? Good morning. And whew, you know, but yeah, what a week. What a week. Hopefully everybody had a good week, or at least m- survived until we got to here, because obviously there's always ups and downs that we all go through. Oh, good morning, Margaret. SpongeBob. Okay, cool. Geez, Steph. Oh my gosh. I gotta throw that up real quick. Ice on the door inside your house. That's a bit cold. I would say that's a bit cold. Yes. Wow. Yeah. Well, hopefully you're bundled up and maybe even got an extra heater running stuff, because yikes. Yeah, that's never good when you get ice on the inside. I remember a lot of times, I mean, I drive to and from work, and it's like most people, but uh it's I have about an hour's drive. And I remember when my older cars would have ice on the inside, which was always insane, because you sitting there have to heat the car up in general just to get the inside of the frost off. Hey, Chuck, good morning, sir. Oh wow, Margaret, snowing there. Yeah, we've had the sun pop out. I'm looking over basement window. We've had the snow. We've had the sun pop out a couple times already this morning, so it's been pretty good. I almost took a photo of it, but I didn't have my phone on me to do that. But yeah, I know. I heard. I haven't. I didn't look. I was going to look before the show, but I forgot about it, and I was going to look to see, because I know there's some projected snow in the Midwest here, bits and pieces and things. So nothing crazy from what I remember the other day looking at it. But I think supposedly next week, Monday night into Tuesday, there's supposed to be some real big stuff happening. So, but we'll see. We'll see how it rolls out, because as much as I enjoy the weather, and it used to be a hobby of mine. I used to really study it, and uh, you know, this was back, before computers did everything. And obviously computers make mistakes, which is so true, because how many times have you guys had the weather predicted by your local news, and then it doesn't happen the way it says it, because they're staring at a computer hoping the computer is right. So I'm not I'm not too big of a fan nowadays of computer predictions, because they don't seem to do too well. We need to go back to everybody studying the charts and the patterns and everything, and go from that aspect, because that was a little bit more spot on than nowadays. But I'm sure most of you know that, because it's crazy how they say all this stuff, and then you either don't get it or you barely get anything, and it's crazy. So, but yeah. So it's definitely Saturday the 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. So happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Whether you celebrate it or not, I'm not, at this point in my life, I'm not too huge into it anymore. Maybe it's just a sign of getting older, but it is kind of fun to see my kids get to enjoy it. And um, my son's still in elementary school, and it was neat because they still did a Valentine's Day exchange. The difference was, obviously, because of the pandemic and everything, they had to turn in their Valentine's Day stuff, where they, whether it's cards or candies or whatever, they had to turn that in, like, I think it had to be due by Monday or Tuesday of this week, so that way it had several days just in case there was anything, abnormal on the items, virus or whatnot, so it would, obviously die off. So I, uh, so it was kind of neat for him to still kind of bring home a bag yesterday, full of stuff, and it was kind of cool because I'm glad some schools, are still trying to do the best they can to adapt to the situations and make it, you know, somewhat memorable for the kids because obviously at a young age, the kids just, that young just don't know or understand everything fully. And, it's neat that they're still doing what they can. So, I definitely applaud all the schools out there that are still trying to do what they can. And, because I know it's not easy. I know it's not easy for them. And, but they do the best they could. Oh, cool, Margaret. That's awesome. Yeah, Jerry told you to buy flowers for yourself. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad he did. It's always nice, even then, with all the cold weather and the snow and everything, it's nice this time of year, to see a little color, get a few flowers, have them, especially, ones that really have a smell to them that, really kind of reminds you of spring and summer and things. And, but even then, Valentine's Day in itself is, relationships and stuff. And so there's nothing wrong in that. But yeah, that's cool. So hopefully, in case, if you guys are celebrating it tomorrow, hopefully you have some plans. I mean, I know everything's got to be modified to some degree depending on where you're at. I know mine is going to be a little bit different because actually the wife and daughter actually are going to a not toward until the evening, but they have they're still a part of Girl Scouts and stuff, and so they rented a movie theater, and so they're going to watch a movie. Good morning, Lindsay. And so they're going to go tomorrow night and watch a movie, have some snacks and stuff, and just kind of hang out. But cool thing is with renting a movie theater, you have the spacing, which is really awesome. Hey, good morning, Jeff. So I'm so it'll just be me and my son in the evening, which is no big deal. But it'll be kind of different. But then again, hey, they had a deal and you can't pass up on it. And, with it being a holiday, it was easier or somewhat of a holiday. It was easier for them to, uh, get the theater rented out and stuff. So, plus it's good business, obviously, we all try to help all our local restaurants and businesses out as best we can, because they're hurting just like everybody else is. So it'll be fun. So yeah, not a lot of plans tomorrow for Valentine's Day for me. Um, I did, it was funny was I was, each week I kind of think about things that, whether it was something really significant going on with me, because it's always fun to share. And so that way you guys have a different perspective on, mediums and psychics and, readers in general, that you kind of get a little bit more of a sneak peek into, what's going on like behind the scenes because some people might have like a certain thought of how we do things and stuff or maybe they have assumptions. Excuse me. And I wanted to sort of touch on that a little bit. Good morning, Laura. And I thought it would be kind of fun because it could be quick and might go a little bit longer. So I know there's a lot of people that are in the chat that do that are readers or some of that are aspiring and working up towards it and things. But I thought I would bring it up and give you my perspective, which again, this is just mine. It's my opinions. And it's what works for me, but we'll dive into that here. Uh, but what I wanted to talk about, because later today, I'm going to be working with a client and it's sort of it's going to be remote viewing, of course. And uh, they've never worked with me before, and so obviously I can't share details since it is a private thing, but it's sort of in that kind of threshold of being possibly something attached to them, but it also could just be the home that they live in that might have some activity. So it's kind of one of those things that I have to figure out, what is it, an attachment? Is it something in the home that's just affecting them? Is it, a combination? Is it something else? Because there's some other details that, I was able to find that, might help figure things out. But that's the cool part about what I do and what others like me do, is getting to the bottom of things and helping them out moving forward. So, but what the whole point I'm getting at is preparation. What is it like to get ready before a session like this? And I mean session just in general, whether it's a reading, whether it's a healing, whether it's me doing a paranormal type of remote viewing, uh, cleansing. The list can be go on, and even then, even doing like this, where if I'm doing a live reading show, which I'm not today, it would be what is it like to, what what do I do to get ready for those events? And again, it's for me, it's the same thing. There isn't, um, well, okay, we'll just get into that. So it's weird because that's what I love about this because it's not like I got to read from a script and go right down it. So if I'm going out of order, well, that's my own doing. So, but so a lot of people, a lot of again, medium psychics, readers of all sorts, some of them have a set way of doing things, and by no means is it right or wrong. I mean, for them it's right because that's what works for them. Y- I guess if you have been doing this your whole life, you probably have grown into a routine that you enjoy, or if you're sort of like me where it's a late bloomer, you uh you either learn from others and adapt it into your own, or you create your own sort of prep of what it's like to get into it. And sometimes, people, again, whether whatever type of session they're going to be doing for their clients, whether it's in person or at an event or from home, you know, a lot of times it's the exact same way. But, you know, again, what works for you is the most important part. So I'm very simplistic in my approach to when I'm got a session coming up. And so like today I have a session. Now, some people need to prep the day before where they're kind of taking it easy, they're eating certain things, they're not staying up too late because they want to be well rested and things of that sort. And sometimes they don't do anything the day before, so then you get to the day of the event, so then what they're doing is the exact same thing. They're making sure they got their sleep, they're making sure that everything is good, they're not going to be eating anything that's going to create issues health wise. Like you know you're not going to be eating like some type of like spicy salsa or something like that for breakfast, because more than likely that's not going to look too good. After a little while, you might be into it, but some people like to take it a little bit easier so that way they're not in a position to where it's going to prevent them from doing the session. And which is a good, I mean, obviously I would never do that too. I'm not going to jeopardize on something that I know if I just ate a certain way, it wouldn't hinder me, from or having to cancel or delay, because that's obviously something that can happen. um uh but even then there's other natural things too that happen, just whatever, it is what it is. So, but typically too, day before a session, I try not to stay up too late. The good thing for me right now is since I am working, oh, good morning, Ann. Since I am working, uh, awesome. Okay. Thank you, Chris. Yeah. So this is, what she does. She writes down, okay, information that comes to her. That's awesome. Yep. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. Hey, Carrie. And, so I, I guess we'll just say, so for me, let's do me, and then we can kind of share, because like Christine right there was saying, um, uh, about what she does before her sessions, and I appreciate it. So if any of you are readers of whatever type, let me know, what you could do, whether it's the day before or the day of, how do you prep before a session? So for me, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm not going to stay out too late because it does create problems, because if you're super tired, you're worn down. I mean, this type of work is a lot of energy, and the more you do it, the more stamina, and that's a great way to put it, you can do it for longer periods of time. And a lot of us, a lot of my medium friends, and again, um they've all know when the events are running like they would be on a normal year, top to bottom, sometimes they could do hours and hours of readings back to back and not have a break to, catch the breath, so to speak. And so, those are crazy and tough because by the time you get towards the end of the event, you're getting pretty much onto fumes at that point because you've been using so much energy. It's not even like something like you can have a sip of coffee or down an energy drink or have some tea or something that's just going to get you going. Yeah, it'll wake you up, but it doesn't necessarily mean that the energy is there for you to do that. Yep, perfect. Yep. Christine's saying everything. Definitely rest up, make sure you're hydrating yourself. Absolutely. Yeah, you do. You do because it's easy because a lot of us when we do these sessions, it's easy to forget what's to take care of ourselves. And it's interesting is that I've done it at events where I've tried to make it a habit as soon as, you're done with the client you're working with at that particular time, you immediately reach over and grab your water and take a good swig or two while the next person's sitting down. Because if you don't, you get to the point where because a lot of times you're speaking. I mean, just like for me, I got to reach over and either grab some coffee or I have water or backup. You just got to because you can only talk so long before you dry everything out. And so, plus it's good for you anyway. So, I mean, obviously things of that sort, whether it's a coffee or a tea or water or, um, you know, juice of some sorts and things, by all means, whatever works for you. Obviously stay away from certain things, you know, I would not, I wouldn't recommend alcohol. It's kind of a big no-no for me. Anytime I'm doing any type of investigations or a session, I mean, that's I think obvious. Drugs and alcohol are definitely not good because if the point is you want to do the best you can for that client. And, if you're under any type of influence of, something that's not natural, it's not the best idea. And, I think it's just good practice not to, and don't get me wrong, I get it. There's people out there that they need a drink. And I'm not saying for a session, I'm going to refer to like a paranormal investigation. Sometimes I've seen people have, like a little swig of something, and it just kind of gets them because they're nervous, and I'm not saying even it has to be a psychic medium or anything like that or sensitive, you know, they just have that they're too nervous and they kind of have a little sip of something, it kind of just takes that edge off. And you know, I still wouldn't do it. It's still not my thing, but obviously one little sip isn't going to completely change the way the outcome and what's going to happen moving forward. But again, that's just not me. Typically a lot of locations, if you get caught with any, type of, alcohol or illegal substances, you're going to be kicked out immediately. And, you know, again, it's just not worth it. I mean, I understand, but at the same time, it's just, it's kind of a conscious thing that, I mean, we all need to be responsible. And if you think about it, if you're messed up, on something like that, you could harm somebody or you could damage things. And gosh, Lee, it's just not the best thing. And, considering that you paid money to be at that location, respect it. You know what I mean? And it's just not the right thing to do. But I see a lot of great comments in there. Let's see. What did you say, Christine? I have to remember to do that. I get so involved. I forget. Oh yeah, about the having a drink in between sessions. Yeah, Carrie. If I'm around, I'm a good quick recharge for the energy battery. Yep. Rodney was talking about, definitely not drinking before, maybe afterwards. Christine saying alcohol does interfere. Absolutely. The party afterwards, again by Christine. Yep. Nothing wrong afterwards. I have been a part of, investigations and, you weren't pretty much leaving the location because you were sleeping there and doesn't hurt to have a few drinks afterwards. But, it's kind of fun because even then it's sort of like this, it's kind of like a round table, where everybody's just kind of, hey, what happened to you? And you're just kind of hitting a few little things and stuff, or a glass or a can or whatever. But again, that stuff fine afterwards. You know what I mean? Who doesn't? I mean, and even then, I know people aren't, all into alcohol and things like that. So by all means, you don't need to even touch it or worry about it. But sometimes it's nice to kind of just relax, but not make too much of a habit of it. So, but again, so back to, the main thing is, obviously you don't want to, most of us that do readings and sessions for people, we don't want to do anything that's going to prevent you from doing, what you're supposed to be doing for them. They came to you, they took the time to say, hey, I want a session from you, and whatever that session is, you know, there's an expectation, even if they did not sure what's going to be the outcome, or they hope for a certain outcome, you know, you need to be on your game. I think the same goes for any of us that have jobs right now, or, you know, your boss, your managers, have a certain expectation of, what kind of performance they need to see from you. And if you're not doing too well, your job's going to be in jeopardy. So, there's no different than what it would be during the day than where you're doing something for your clients, in the evenings. So let's see, Jeff, coffee and 500 drink is what I rely on to stay awake overnight. Hopefully that's not interfering too much. Well, no, no. I mean, obviously, Jeff, it still matters that if you can get yourself, some rest prior to that as much as you can. A lot of times investigations are at night. So if you can maybe catch a nap before you get to the location, that certainly, can extend your time of being awake. But coffee and and 5 hour, and all those type of things that, got caffeine, so to speak. I'm into it. Sometimes you just need it, where, you still have a drive. You're still in a way awake to do it, but you need something to just get you that last, couple hours, or, whatever amount of time. So definitely, caffeine's not the end of it. All it does is just in the end kind of make it crash a little bit quicker. But that's just the way it is. And Christine saying Carrie's is your energizer bunny. Yeah, some people are like that too. Sometimes, you have, investigators, or sometimes your clients, they just give off this kind of energy that then kind of, a lot of us do readings and sessions. You can pick up that energy, and it kind of gives you a buzz back, or, the session is going so great. And there's just kind of a cool circular motion of energy going around and exchanging, and it's all in a positive light, which is fantastic. Obviously, if it's negative, it'll slow you down. It'll start taking and depleting yours. But it's nice that, if everybody's doing great and the sessions are going awesome, and then you feel like, hey, I could do, several more hours of this. Hey, what's up, Chris? Oh, good to see you, Christopher St. Booth. Thank you for stopping by, buddy. Man, miss you too. Real quickly, while Chris hopefully is still watching, real quick. I want to give a shout out to him. He just released a series that took several years to make, called The Attached. I'm a couple episodes in, and I haven't finished it yet because I signed up to get the director's cut of the Attached DVD. And every time I've seen Chris's stuff and his brother Phil, they do phenomenal work. So if you guys are not familiar with the Booth brothers, you got to check it out. Their latest thing is The Attached, and it's awesome. I mean, like I said, I've only seen a couple of the episodes so far, and hopefully you guys can check that out. But definitely go check out the Booth brothers, and you will not be disappointed. I'm telling you, because like I said, I'm 2 episodes in, and I'm always blown away. But they definitely outdid it. Chris does a fantastic job with music. I mean, I even got the soundtrack to that, so that's been playing. So I can't. That's the thing. I mean, I'm a music guy too. You guys know that. So listening to his stuff, I love behind the scenes. I love all the stuff that goes on and how it fits with the episodes. Because to me, when there's no lyrics and it's just the instrumental music, as you guys know, I do the Native American flute. That music has to talk, and you have to feel that music. And Chris does a phenomenal job with that, and you can feel it. We were, one of the episodes is on a place that I got to investigate with Christopher and Phil, with St. Albans, and that's a fantastic episode, because that's the one I caught last night. It's about the story about Rebecca, and I won't go too deep into it, so that way guys will leave you on a cliffhanger. But The music he's got for that episode is fantastic. Like I said, for that episode, I mean, I'm sitting there at the end just like I can hear the music, it's in the background, but I can hear it and I'm like listening to it besides trying to hear what they're saying and things. But love it. I absolutely love it. So Christopher, congratulations to you and Phil. I can't wait to see the rest of the episodes. And again, if you're interested, definitely check them out and see if you can still get a copy of the attached because you won't regret it. Totally cool. I mean, like I said, worth every penny of it. So, um, hey Ron, sorry I missed you there, buddy. And but anyway, so I wanted to talk about finishing up with the idea of what it's like to prep before a session, and so we kind of got away, all the foods, like I said, you don't want to hurt yourself. You're welcome, Christopher, buddy. Thank you so much. I'm trying, buddy. You're way cooler than me right now, so I, I'm trying to work my way up to your level. but um, I so again, like I said, when you're getting into a session, there's things that you need to do. Now, for me, like I said, there's some people that need to meditate real hard before a session, and I understand that because it does help center them. Now, some of the things that I have done in my spiritual journey, you know, it's was meant that if you don't have that kind of time, that you can jump into a session within seconds. And like I said, there's nothing against anybody else and how they have to prep for it. I applaud them, that they have something that, gets them ready. And like I said, that's what works for them and what works for me. So for me, it's just a couple deep breaths. And there's a lot of things going on in those couple deep breaths. There's a lot of things that I'm pushing out. I'm forgetting about the rest of the world. I'm forgetting about any problems that I'm dealing with. There's a lot of anything that might be conceived as negative gets thrown into those breaths and let go. So that way, my mind is completely focused on what we're about to do with whoever I'm with. And so it's simple for me. And some people need to do prayers and sometimes they need to do smudging, or I like to use the word smudge, but sage is a common term that people use, so they sage themselves. And that's all great. There's nothing wrong in that. And um again, it's what works for you. And like I said, the way I did it was my journey has been through a shamanic way of life. It's been passed down through um, uh, Native Americans, through the Apaches, and it's what they did. They knew that sometimes they'd be on the go with things, or they'd have to tap into stuff quickly. All right, Ronnie, you have a good one. Have a good day. And you need to, jump into things quickly because if you're in a situation that needs it, you can't be sitting there trying to meditate when there's a possibility that you're needed. Or again, the way things are, it's endless of what could be going on. And again, nothing against anybody else, but it's just what works for me is great. I can just focus, I can take a couple deep breaths and then boom, let's rock this thing out. And so that's it. That's exactly what I do. I get in there and take a couple deep breaths, whether it's a session, whether it's a paranormal investigation. It's the same thing, and it's quick. And most people don't even see me, when I do it. It's because it's so fast. Because we could be in the middle of a conversation and be like in a little circle up, or I'm talking to somebody, and I'll be doing my breaths, and then boom, we're into it. Because it's fun because when I do it so quickly, like I said, nobody realizes it, and then I'm able to bounce right in to into like, oh, hey, there's somebody standing with us, and it's maybe me and one other investigator, and there's somebody right here, and they kind of like look over, like, really? So, what we got, Christine? Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a great one. So Christine's saying, and by the way, I'm repeating so that way people that ever do watch this or listen to this back in podcast, they'll understand the questions. So Christine says, sorry, might be a little bit off topic. How do you deal with someone who's blocking you during a reading? Um, I've definitely had those. I think most of us have it. The first time's weird because you really aren't prepared for it, and I don't know. it's really hard to just teach somebody because you're so used to like, okay, it's going to happen. You're going to get things, and it's might be in weird, out of order things, but you're going to get it. And then the next thing you know, it's like somebody sits down and it's just like there's a wall. You can't see in a way you can't see the person. It's just a weird dead, blank wall. And uh, what I always do for any of my sessions, whether it's in person, whether it's over the phone, whether it's remote viewing, I always offer the fact that, and before I say, look, there's always a chance that maybe something won't come through. Uh, if that's the case, you know, we can certainly do this another time. Or maybe that particular moment is not the right time to connect in whatever shape or form. I I definitely have done sessions later on, whether it's a week later or a couple weeks later, depending on everybody's schedule. And, you don't get too upset over it. I mean, sometimes the clients might be a little, it's just the way it works, when you're trying to connect with somebody on the other side, especially through mediumship and things, you know, I guess in a way, it's just like us. We could be tired, we could be sick, and it's just there's just going to be that gray area that things aren't going to be happening. I mean, if I was, super sick, I'm not going to be sitting there trying to talk to somebody on the phone. It's just not going to happen. you know, and I think people will realize, oh, you're sick. You shouldn't, what do we, we'll do this another time when you're feeling better. That's the whole thing. So even spirits on the other side, maybe they're just not ready in the sense of one, I've had it because, some the spirits of the loved ones have come up. We're looking at each other. I can describe them, no problem. And then, hey, good morning, Matt. How you doing, buddy? I've had them walk up. Like I said, I can tell them what they look like, and they're like, yeah, that's him or her, and that's it. They just stand there. They don't say nothing. I don't feel anything. They're just standing there. They just kind of got this look, and you're trying, and hey, what's this? Can you nothing? And it's like, okay. And after it happens several times, you just get used to it. It's like, okay, that's just not today. Now, is it because they don't want to? Do they not have the energy? Or is it the fact that they just don't know you? Because how many people are you just going to walk up to on the street and start talking to them? And it doesn't have to be anything in general. Just, I mean, you might say hi to people, but imagine trying to start a conversation with somebody you truly have never met. I mean, if you just walked up to somebody in the grocery store and just started talking about your day, you're gonna you're gonna get some looks. I think that's pretty legit. So I look at it like that. They sort of remember what it was like in life, and maybe they were not a real super social person, and or they're confused because, okay, how is this living person talking to me that's on the other side? There's just that kind of confusion and things. So uh yeah, let's see, what's Christine saying? I had someone deny everything I said. Her sister was listening and told me I was spot on. Yeah, that's because they just didn't want to believe it. I think they were out to, burn you. I think that's another way to put it. Like, you know, and that's the thing that, we always tell ourselves too. We just whatever we get is what we're going to share. And whether it makes sense to you or not, I can only share what's in front of me. It's whether it's way off. Now, sometimes the messages relate later on. Uh, I'm notorious for that, where loved ones will show me something, and the clients will be like, "That doesn't make any sense," and then it's like days later, they're like, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe. Remember when you said?" And I just didn't know what that was, and well, here it was. And that's how it goes. So I tell people a lot, whether it makes sense or not, remember it, because it might be you might find out in a few days or in a week or so. So just don't forget what we're talking about. So, yeah, and obviously some people are just skeptical. I mean, I think there's no way around it. You're going to get the people that come up, and it's tough when you get the ones that you can just feel that they just kind of have this attitude, and it's like, you know, is it is it really worth your time to sit down and do that? I think we've all seen, the skeptical people, especially on TV, whether it's like a live news broadcast where they try to corner, a medium and be like, okay, who's right here with me? And I'm like, even I would not want to do read for them because that's just an attitude I don't, that's just not cool. I mean, I'm not your little puppet, so I'm not going to sit there and sit there and try to work a session in or talk to a loved one and share that information with you. You're not even giving this a chance. You're just hoping it's wrong and that's it. I I hate when, we haven't seen that a whole lot, but we've seen it in the past where so many times they try to corner people. And then if you deny them a session, then they're just like, oh, well, you just can't do this at all. And it's like, well, that's not it. It's not it at all. It's your fault, essentially. And you got to remember, it's no sweat off my back. You're not going to hurt me by, um, telling me I can't do this, but I got a lot of other people that can vouch that I am, that I can do it. You're just bringing a whole negative attitude that's just not worth my time. I mean, I'm okay. I like skeptical stuff. I'm skeptical on paranormal investigations because that's just what we have to as a team, our team SWPI. And we have to, because there's just so many things that come into play that is man-made, and you have to, not every single thing is a paranormal encounter or experience. I mean, as much as it you want it to be, but at the same time you gotta think, because I know there's so many things in the field that is hilarious, and people, I get video sent and or experiences stuff, and I just kind of have to scratch my head, but I have to sort of take it with a grain of salt, because it's like, you know, you try to slip in, the truth to it and not hurt them too much. Some are willing to be like, "Oh, okay," and then there's others that'll just fight you so hard. They just you say, "No, that's not, this," and they're just like, "Yes, Ed," and I'm like, "Okay." And it's funny as I will try, I'll be super nice about it, and then if you're gonna come lashing back out at me, then I'm out. I just because if you're not gonna at least willing to then talk and share the information back and forth, then I'm not gonna waste my time. I'm not gonna let it get to me and bother me. So you want to believe it, fine. I can see it a different way. And again, I'm all for the greatest of all, EVPs, pictures, video. I'm all for all that. I love that. But at the same time, if it's like an orb, that's our fun thing. If an orb flies by the screen, or flies by the screen and it's clearly dust, I'm sorry. Sorry. It's dust. There is specifics, like with orbs, that they need to be for it to be more believable. Not saying 100% that even it is, but there's actual things that you need to see with an orb that's caught on a photograph or in a video. And most people don't realize that. Now we can talk about that another time if we want. But that's just the whole fun part. Now let me go back and read a little bit. Let's see. Christine says, I tell them it's like a puzzle. I give them the pieces and absolutely, that's favorite of mine. I love to say it, is we're just trying to get all these puzzle pieces, which are the messages, and we're just putting them together. It's not always going to be in a perfect, you're not necessarily even getting the whole border done first. It could be just a something in the middle of the puzzle, but absolutely, Christine, that's so true. Yep. Let's see. Negativity can, and Christine says, negativity can kill a read. Absolutely. If you're just not into it. What you got, Jeff? There's skeptics, then there's cynics, and you'll never ever convince a cynic. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Steph, Summer Divine, absolutely. Christine, I'm not out to convince anyone of anything. Either you believe it or not, but I have converted some. Oh, cool. That's great. That's great. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I and it's just the world we live in. I mean, everything is so much different nowadays. I mean, with social media the way it is, and there's just so many things, and you kind of have those trolls. I mean, well, actually, fingers crossed. This is this might be the first week in 2 weeks that I haven't had a troll roll in and try to hit you guys all up and being like, hit me up for a private message, and Jeez, oh Pete, so there's always going to be the people that just want to start things. And so we just have to ignore it, whether, they're nice about it or if they're going to use vulgar language and things. But I just got to shake my head. So I'm glad that so far, 20 minutes left. We haven't had a troll pop in today, so I'm going to keep my fingers crossed. Margaret, what you saying? Margaret says, I've heard it referred to as a game of charades. And from what you've told me, it sounds like it's a good analogy. Yeah, every reader has their way of picking up where they hear the spirit's voice, whether they feel what they're saying, whether they're showing you like motion wise, like a charade, or they're just going to send you a picture in your mind and then you describe the picture to the client. So majority of the time I'm not able to hear them as much. Once in a blue moon a voice will pop up and I'm like, oh sweet, this is so much easier to handle. you know Again, if I was just kind of motioning or open, holding photos the whole time, this would be a boring episode. So at least on a voice we can truly understand and and get the whole point, because that's, it's rough when you can't. But I don't mind, because it's just how it is for me. Everybody's got their thing, and visual, whether it's like, I guess in a way, motion or pictures, feelings and knowing, smelling, that happens too. I love it. I really wouldn't change it. Yes, I would love more vocal stuff, but at the same time, I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to stress over it, because all those other things are working for me. So it's okay to not have one particular uh, sensation or experience like that, not work. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you can't do things. So absolutely. Ron was talking, when we talk about the orbs, video orbiters would have to, you change directions a couple times for me to believe spirit. I get you, Ron. Yeah, it's got to do some certain things. It's got patterns. It's got, all that. Yep. Margaret saying scammers are the worst. Some people are just jealous or afraid of our abilities. Yeah, I don't, and you don't take it personally. Great. Yeah, Christine, that's 100% correct. And for us, I mean, it's, I I I've never been uh jealous, because it's their thing. I mean, if they're, if somebody, like Debbie and I, when we do our shows or Beyond the Silence radio shows on Wednesdays, and we're working together doing tandem readings, if she's on and I'm off, during a reading, great. I mean, I wish I could, continue, to help, but sometimes it's just the way it is. And then it's the reverse. Sometimes I'm on and then she's, kind of cold. It's the way it is. So there's no jealousy there. If she's the one that's going to pretty much do the whole reading, you know, okay, and it's just, you can't stress or worry about it. It's just that wasn't meant to be at that time. And that's okay. And it's just like for me, you see others doing things and stuff like that. I'm the first one to be, congratulations, whether, they're guests on shows every single week, or they're on TV all the time, doing guest appearances and things. Good. You know what I mean? That's awesome. Good for you guys, whoever. I have no problem with it. So that stuff like that doesn't, bother me. I'm just doing my thing. I'm doing what makes me happy, and getting on to share things like this, or if something on the TV happens where I'm on, great. That's awesome. And if it doesn't, that's okay too. I'm still enjoying this. It's still a passion of mine. I love to do this, and it's it's not something I need all that to be a better psychic medium. It's not the case. Just because you're on TV doesn't make you any better than what you were before it. You know, I'd rather work my tail off and continue to do what I do, because I love doing this, and I love connecting with people, and I love sharing information. And, if there's things that I say in any of these episodes, or with others, like with Debbie on Wednesdays and stuff. I mean, if there's information that we can share that helps people out, whether you are, a reader of some sort, or you're a client or whatever, if it helps, that's the bottom line, is we're out to help, and if we can share that information in whatever way, fantastic. So, Christine, yeah, we need to support and learn from each other. Absolutely. It's the only way we're going to continue to evolve in what we're doing and moving forward. And, nothing's a secret, we all have our thing. And again, that's what's fun too, is if we're all working together, whether it's tandem readings for somebody, whether it's on an investigation for paranormal, you know, when you get several psychic mediums, you know, and we're all working together, like Christine said earlier with the puzzle, we're getting a lot more puzzle pieces quicker. So that image is becoming more full. So that's the cool thing is so being able to share things or I've learned from so many people out there that, have helped me grow. I mean, the list continues to grow. I mean, even just investigators and other clients I've learned from, this is a never ending thing. I think the I won't stop learning until I'm done. And I'm saying done is when it's time for me to move on to the next realm. So I will not stop learning, and you know as much as having a lot of experience and information, I don't know if I really do. I, and that's just being honest too. There's always something new to learn, and I don't know everything, and if I don't, I'm definitely the first person to raise my hand and be like, yeah, I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm not going to sit there and try to make it up. I'll give an opinion if there's something I kind of maybe have an idea, but you're going to hear me say that too. And we're like, well, I don't know, I don't know a lot about it, but here's this, and this is maybe, but at the same time, you probably got to do some research, or I got to do some research about it. So, always important. Let's see. And Margaret, what did you say? Did Jerry talk to you, or did he just show you images? Not right this moment, Margaret. I am pretty focused on talking since it's if I think if I was stopping more and I wasn't hearing things, then yes. But so sometimes because I'm not doing a reading, so I haven't focused over in that way, but it's possible. I just didn't hear it because I'm opening my mouth too much. Yep. Let's see. Christine, me, Exie, Candy did a team reading for a bed and breakfast owner in Gardenston. We all got a little of every. Yeah, that's awesome. And that's so cool that you all got together and did that. Oh my gosh. I mean, that's so neat and so amazing because, again, when everybody kind of sits back and you put all those pieces down on the table and you kind of all look at each other going, whoa, I love that. That's a great moment too. You're like, you got that? Well, I got this. And then you're like, this kind of fits together. I love that. That's just it's so cool. I love that. Um, but anyway, because we're getting down to about 13 minutes left. So I hope, in a way I kind of gives you an idea a little bit of what like I said, I always try to come up with something that we can kind of talk about, but just again, prepping for, sessions and it could be as involved as possible. And if it works for you, fantastic. If it's as simple like me, where it's just a couple deep breaths, great. It's something you'll learn. And even then, sometimes I even encourage that try things. You know what I mean? Like I've done some meditations before because I've worked with some others. And before we did a session, that's what they needed to do. They needed to meditate. So we all kind of like, got in a room, we were in a little, we were doing a video thing and we all were in the room and we were all kind of doing a little quiet time and things. That's okay. And you know what? It didn't totally change the way my session then went with everybody at that point, but it was neat. I mean, but again, you got to try things and never feel like you shouldn't try something. So anybody that's, aspiring to do readings and psychic mediumship and tarot readings and stuff, don't hesitate to try other things to just see because you never know if something's going to pop up that might be the thing you really need to do that's going to help you out or make your sessions even better. So never be closed off to things because again, like Christine said too, we all need to kind of you got to make friends in the community and you got to sit there and talk about what you do and hear what others do and see if you can adapt it or just try their way and see if it does anything for you because it is so important. And I again, it's don't ever stop learning. You shouldn't. I don't care how old you are. You could be over 100. You shouldn't stop learning, even when people want all the advice of when you're up that how are you doing it, how are you making it this long? Does it really matter? I mean, they're living it, just enjoy it. Enjoy the ride. Keep learning. That's awesome, Christine. Yeah, she said just to follow up, it was a fun and the owner was amazed. Yeah. Oh, that's what I said. You get a bunch of mediums together and we all throw information down. Whew, love that. And but Other than that, you know, don't so that's the thing is don't always assume or you don't always assume one way is going to work over the other. So be open to it. And like I said, my stuff is just the way I was taught and I liked it and it did fit for me. And I think that's why I went that direction. I think that's why it called to me to do more of a shamanic style of work is because it just called to me. And I think that's what's neat is that when you feel connected to somebody that's teaching things and or maybe it's just going to be one particular element of what they're teaching that you need to fulfill or broaden your move forward with your sessions and things later on. That's okay too because again we're going to learn little things from people and sometimes it's not always on a conscious level, it's going to be on a subconscious level. So there's things like that that people aren't going to be aware of, but you kind of figure that out as the more and more you do this. I mean, I've been doing spiritual things, shamanic things since 2005. So I've had a long run at just that aspect of it. And the paranormal stuff got added into it when it was the right time, which was then in 2012. So, you know, it's definitely, something that's just always happening. There's always new things, going around and um I love it. I like the way things are going for me, and you know, there's always things that could be a little bit better. There's always things that I wish I could do more of. Maybe it's because it's a lack of funds, and things of that sort. But you make the best of it, and a lot of times things are going to happen for a reason when they're supposed to, and a lot of us know that. Let's see. What'd you say, Margaret? That's comparable to saying a book is better than a video. Depends on the audience. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. um, uh, yeah. So always cool. Oh, cool, Christine. Christine saying paranormal came first for her. Um, yeah. It's weird how but see, that's what's neat is it's different for everybody. Now, Christine, not knowing, I don't think I know the total paranormal side of things, but maybe you were affected, as a young girl, and that's why it's always been around longer. Uh, and that's okay. I mean, but, whether you lived in a haunted house or maybe your grandparents had house that was haunted, that seems to be a case where, sometimes you just kind of fall into things at an early age, whether it's the paranormal, whether it's hearing spirits talking to you and bothering you at all hours of the night. And so uh it's interesting of how we all start. And again, doesn't have to be even paranormal, doesn't have to be media. I mean, it could be any topic really out there. What it could be sports. I mean, just having a passion to play a sport, you know what I mean? Ah, okay, Christine, she's saying 14 years in a haunted house. Yep. Yeah, and then she's saying it wasn't good. Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's how it happens. It's just that's what presented itself, and, the rest is where you're at now, you know? Uh, yeah, like, for me, I was, most of you guys know my story. I didn't really have anything paranormal. It wasn't till, I was, over 18 years old that I had my first paranormal experience. Um, and even then, I didn't think it was paranormal at the time. It was looking back and remembering that moment that then I could say, "Yeah, it kind of was." Uh, and then, but I had psychic moments growing up that was was different for me. And I never shared that. That's something that was I just kind of held on to, and that started in the late part of the 80s. And I just was quiet about it because 80s was like you're truly taboo, and it was the thing that whenever I caught something like that on TV, which some of those earliest paranormal documentaries and things were so rough that that always fascinated me, that was possibly something out there like ghosts, floating around and and communicating with people and touching people, poking them like in the shoulder, what I mean, it's crazy, to think that there was, this whole other thing. And then here it is, all these years later that then it comes back around and finally grabs me. So, oh, Christine has targeted me because I knew I had ability. Yeah, that's that happens too. Um, because it knew that you communicate, it knew that you could sense them, speak to them, hear them. It is so common that happens to a lot of people, and that's how it kind of opens doors for them or torments them to the point of where they're really struggling mentally. And I mean, I'm glad that you definitely are doing a lot better. you know you catch your videos and your posts and things, and so you've definitely have come a long way. So you're you're not in a point where you're hiding from us, tormenting you. Eesh, golly. Well, Christine, we'll have to chat. I want to know. We'll have to chat sometime. You know, maybe the next event, where we're at the same place, we can have a few minutes to talk about it, because I'd love to hear it and hear what happened, if you're willing to share. I mean, that's okay too. I mean, if you're not, you could even you don't have to say anything, but I'd love to hear about it. So, well, good. And you're right, and thank you, and I'm better because of it. Cool. Okay, yeah, that'd be awesome too. You can send a message to me. That'd be fantastic if you want to. I'm not gonna twist your arm or spook you. Ha ha ha. I'm not gonna scare you to give me that information. I wouldn't be that mean. Uh, too good. So a couple minutes left. So yeah. Um, so anyway, I hope you guys are having a hope the rest of your weekend is fantastic. Have a like I said, I can't spook you. Can't spook you. Okay. I'm not gonna try either. I'd be like, well, that's a fighting words. I mean, now I'm gonna be determined to scare you. So I'd probably just do like a jump scare. Maybe the next time I'll come up and sneak up behind you and scare you that way. Then that way it's a jump scare versus okay. All right. All right, Chris. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of the situation. I'm just trying to, I am raising the energy level up, trying to make sure we're all smiling and laughing before I hang up here. So that's the important thing. I remember I'm always trying to make sure I make you guys feel better, make you, smile a little bit, and you know, okay, well, hey, whatever it takes. If you got to throw those on, okay. um, but yeah, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Enjoy Valentine's Day if you're celebrating it tomorrow. And uh, I think there's supposedly some snow early part of next week. So if it's legit as they say, it could be rough for a lot of us. If it's not, maybe it'll just be weak. Well, we'll see. Matt, you have a great weekend too, man. Thank you so much. And stay safe as always. And hopefully, hopefully everybody will have a decent week. Yeah, right, Margaret. I can hear that song too. I ain't afraid of no ghost. um, but yeah, I will be back again next week. That won't be a problem. Um, yeah, I think, what was it? It's not the so not till March, and I think it's March 6th might be a tough one. I don't know yet. Now granted, that's several weeks away, but the March 6th show, I don't know. Half of my family have to go to a Girl Scout function early in the morning, and I don't know. So we'll see. I'll start figuring things out, or maybe we'll do something maybe on Sunday. So maybe we'll shift it to the Sunday instead for that week. But again, once we get a little bit closer, I'll make sure everybody's fully aware, because obviously, you get to that habit and a routine, or it's every Saturday at 9:30, and then you know, we'll see how it goes. But so March 6th might be it either will happen. If it happens, it would be earlier, but at the same time, I don't know. We'll see. Again, that's coming up later on. So that's about the next thing that's going to be a little different. But next several weeks, we should be fine. Everything will be great. Steph, you have a great day, and you take it easy as well. And Margaret, you do the same. Have a great weekend. So yes, all right, 10:30. All righty, gang. So with that being said, thank you so much for being here today. Always remember to take care of each other, be kind, be nice, stay warm, especially stay warm right now. And, we will definitely see you guys again soon. I'm going to try to see if I can get an extra post or two in. It's been rough work wise, but I'm going to try really hard. Thank you, Christine. We'll talk to you real soon. And it has been rough. I mean, I'm so physically tired. Oh, Steph, you have a blessed day yourself. Ron, take care of yourself. And so yeah, I will do the best. Oh, you're a little late. I'm just wrapping up the show. You're gonna have to watch the replay, Dad. But I will. I'm gonna try to get some either post in there, whether it's midweek or something like that, because I'm missing it. Thanks, Carrie. You have a great weekend. And because I miss trying to get a couple extra posts in there, because it's rough. I mean, I'm up early for work, and then I'm really physically exhausted. So it's been tough, and so I really want to try to get something else out there for you guys to check out, until Saturday rolls around. So anyway, all right, no worries. Yeah, I'll be seeing you later today anyway, Dad. So there's plenty. We could always, we always fill you in later. But yes, so I will be back next week. Still 9:30, and other than that, again, happy Valentine's Day to all of you that celebrate it, and I will see you again very soon. So with that being said, all my love, light, and peace to each of you. You guys have been watching the Mid Morning Medium Chat. I'm Adam, the Black Swamp Medium, and I will see you next week. Later.